Hello there, folks. My name is Spoonks, and I saw Death on the Nile, and I didn't like it. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of Murder on the Orient Express. I thought it was very mediocre. There were some cool things about it and some interesting pieces of tension and suspense about it, but it just didn't really work out for me. So I wasn't really all that interested in the sequel to that film, but I was a little optimistic. Maybe they could improve on where that film failed, but that was not the case here, as I thought this movie was worse than the predecessor. I kind of, while I didn't hate it necessarily, I didn't think this was all that good. Let's start off with the positives. First off, two things that carry over from the first film that I really liked are the fact that the two leads, and oh god, I'm gonna butcher these pronunciations, but the two leads, Hercule Poirot and his friend Book, are still the most likable and well-developed characters there. They have the most amount of conflict, and you get to learn the most about these two and their problems, and they become very well developed throughout the movie, and their banter and chemistry is very entertaining, and you just love seeing the two of them get along and try to solve the mystery together. Some of the things I liked about this movie were that the characters and the suspects here I found to be a lot more interesting and likable than the suspects from the last film, because I felt like the majority of the suspects didn't really do much and were very hollow, one-dimensional, where these characters were a lot more interesting to not only watch but also learn about their backstories and reasoning behind their decisions, which I greatly appreciated. And the other positive thing that is carried over from the first film is that there are some moments and scenes of tension and suspense that were, while they didn't leave me on the edge of my seat and weren't anticipating what was going to happen next, did bring some enjoyment out of it. They made the movie a bit more lively and entertaining, to say the least, and once again, a lot more interesting than what was happening prior to these scenes, which I deeply appreciated. And the last positive thing I will say about this movie is that once the actual mystery and when Hercule Poirot starts investigating what's going on, the movie does start to pick up, and that's when the film starts to get a little bit more entertaining and even at times a bit fun, given that, it's a murder mystery and that's the whole point, I know, but there is a lot of this movie that we'll discuss that just left me so bored, and when the actual mystery of the film happens, I was greatly appreciative of how much more interesting the film got from there on. But unfortunately, I do have many problems with this movie. First off, the first act of this movie is so slow. They spend so much time building up and setting up this mystery that they don't even get onto the actual boat until at least 35 to 40 minutes into the movie, causing the actual mystery to get started until halfway through this roughly 2 hour movie. This causes the actual mystery of the movie to feel not only short and rushed, but also lacking grand scale or weight to the situation, because the movie is about someone getting killed on a boat in the middle of the Nile River. That's a pretty big deal if you ask me. But once again, because the first act took so long to set everything up with so much exposition and backstory about these characters, it once again made the actual mystery feel rushed and haphazard. And let's talk about the mystery of this movie. Now, everyone knows the whole point of a murder mystery and the fun of it all is trying to find out who did the crime. You have all of these casts of characters, multiple people who you don't really know about, and you get to learn more about throughout the course of the movie, and that's what's the fun of it. You get to learn more about them and deduct who is innocent and who is guilty. That's what makes it fun. What doesn't make it fun is that when they make the killer so obvious and so easy to know that they did the crime it makes the film going experience predictable and boring and tiresome, because this movie's killer was so obvious. I knew it was them the minute they appeared on screen. This movie could not have made it any more obvious and easier. I'm pretty sure a child would have been able to crack this mystery. Now, I know this movie is based off of a book, and I know the predecessor was based off of a book as well. And I'm sure the way that book handled the reveal and the twist of the killer in this movie was a lot more better and subtle, and actually probably much more jaw-dropping than this movie. They tried to swerve around it and make you believe that, oh, it probably couldn't be them. They had this reason and that reason, but I'm sorry, pal, you couldn't fool me. It was just too obvious and too easy to solve. And the last negative thing I will say about this movie is in regards to the characters. Now, I actually liked a lot of these characters. I said earlier they were more interesting and entertaining than the cast of characters from the first movie. The problem is that they aren't really given a whole lot to do. They're just a bunch of scenes of them interrogating them, and many of them are barely in the movie, and some of them barely have any lines, which is unfortunate because I was interested in hearing about their motives and their backstories. It was fun and exciting, but it was unfortunate that a lot of them were put to the sideline in this movie in favor for just more easy to solve clues and riddles scattered throughout the film. So ultimately, this movie didn't really do anything to impress me. Although there were some good things I liked about this movie, like a colorful cast of characters, some suspenseful and intense moments, and it's starting to pick up some steam and energy towards the second half. It was not enough to save the film, unfortunately, with a very, very slow first act and a very easy to solve mystery. It just left me bored and tired and just waiting for the film to end. And to top all that, a waste of a colorful cast of characters to add as well. If you're really that curious and you liked the predecessor, I'd say wait till you can rent it at home or if it appears on Hulu. But if you're wanting a good murder mystery, this is a no-brainer to skip out. And those are my thoughts on Death on the Nile. What did you all think of it if you've seen it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all those social media links at the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp. Land to this slaughter,